Peace, wise feminine. How you doing? Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. Can you hear me? Doing good. Doing good. Thank you. Looking at all the nosy people ride by. Let's see if anybody else. What's up, God Science? Let's see if anybody else. Let a couple more people get in. Ain't gonna hold y'all on here long. We're gonna get rolling here. Okay, there we go. We got. Well, we had 5 people. Fuck it. 4 or 5. It's good enough. Try to get my. Oh, there we go. All right. All the people, people tripped out. That's why wrecks be happening on the highway. A lot of wrecks be because people just somebody might be over there just changing their tire on the side of the road. Ain't nobody gonna stop to help them, but they'll cause a wreck just to stop and look at them. Look at there, got a flat tire. Flat as a pancake. Yes, it is. Probably didn't keep up with keeping that tire filled up. That's probably why it went flat. Bam, rear-ended. But I want to do this real quick about the nature of the true. I call it the true nature of investment, and this ain't got nothing to do with investment like uh, uh, probably what you would think. So I'm always kind of abstract and things. I want to look at just what is an investment. Period. Point blank. Breaking it down to the very last compound, as simple as we can be about it. In its most purest form, in its essence. So if we're going to deal with the word in that manner, then we got to look at there's that old word etymology, right? So the word investment, the root is vest, okay? So in astrology, you have the name given to an asteroid, peace, faith. Uh, we have the name given to one of the asteroids discovered in the 1800s is Vesta. And Vesta um, uh, comes from Roman mythology. I can't remember what Vesta is in Greek mythology. Uh, damn. But either way, Vesta is a goddess, okay? And she is actually an extension of Venus. Um, so she was the asteroid that the name Vesta is associated with, like I said, was discovered in the 1800s. That's just a little backdrop. But Vesta the goddess, is associated with uh, home and hearth. Okay. Now, when you talk about hearth, hearth is like an oven. It is a vessel or apparatus that houses fire. Okay. And we know all of the benefits of fire from the simplest standpoint. Heat. It gives us the ability to cook raw food, to make raw food edible. It gives us the ability to heat up liquid. It can give us light, and on and on and on. But Vesta, personally, individually, coincides with our sense of I amness, because Vesta is associated with the first house, and the first house is the house of identity, and the first house is a firehouse, because the first house is associated with Aries, fire. Aries is the epitome of action because it's the first action sign. And so, action, wherever it is, whether it's action in Aries or Capricorn or Cancer or Libra, all action is of the nature of fire. Capricorn is where fire has been used to differentiate one point of time from another. It's where there's a break. Libra is the fire that is needed to balance. Cancer is the fire that is needed to heat up water to make it uh, sustainable. But that's a sidebar. Vesta, as it's associated with the first house, is, like I said, fire, the fire of who I am, my I amness, my identity, my ego, my seed. Okay. So I'm giving that backdrop so that when you use the word investment, of course, in common sense, in, that means inside, okay, within. Vest means my fire, my personal fire. When you use the word, when you and I use the word investment, in essence, we are really talking about tapping into our own fire. Now, the way that that word is used now in as part of our lexicon and the reality that we live in, we automatically, most of us, think about it being something outside of us. Oh, I invested such and such in this, and I invested in this and that, which is cool. But the way I'm built, the way I'm structured, when I think of investment, I think of myself first. And the true essence of the word supports the way I'm built to see investment from the jump. My number one investment is me, because in true essence of the word, anything outside of me is really not an investment. It is some other expression. Uh, we can think of some other word. It is, I don't know. But true investment starts with me. True investment starts with you. And you know, what I'm getting at is it really come down to confidence. Like this is not a Les Brown, Tony Robbins inspirational speech. Is what I'm trying to. I'm I mean what I'm saying, and it is true. Your number one investment is you. But if you don't have confidence in yourself, you miss the whole boat. See, the way our society is set up now, one of the biggest frauds or category of frauds right now is around investment. We are living in the so-called Piscean era, and we always hear, people say that, oh, it's the age of belief, it's the age of religion. And I'm gonna do another conversation on that because we need to stop just repeating stuff we hear people say and actually study. Okay, Pisces got way more to it than just those words. But that's another discussion. Another word that is associated with Pisces is fraud, fraudulent activities, and because we have lost the meaning, the essence of the word investment, there is a big door open to being scammed by fake investments, fraudulent activities. Because if we are acting upon the true essence of the word, a lot of things we wouldn't even pay attention to, wouldn't even consider, because it ain't me. It ain't me. It's someone else's reality. Which means if it's someone else's reality, then for me, it is an illusion. See, the axis of Pisces and Virgo is illusion versus reality. And when you lose touch with your reality, then you can become subject to someone else's reality, which is can quite often be very fictional and illusionary. And these all can stem from when there's no fire in the hearth. There's no Vesta, or there has not been enough time becoming acquainted with your Vesta, your fire. You pull your birth chart. I think Astro Dinks. I think they might let you. I think it's free. I think it'll show you your asteroid points in your chart. See where Vesta is in your chart. See, because what Vesta does, it takes your first house, it takes where Aries is in your chart, and it magnifies it. Why do I say that? Aries is naturally associated with the first house, but the way your chart is laid out, you may not actually have Aries in the first house. But wherever Aries is, it is associated with your identity. That's where your identity begins in your chart. Okay. Astro Dinst. I think it's like uh Deist. I think Deist. It's Astro Deist, I think. So you pull that. Aries is going to show you where your identity begins in your chart. Okay. And maybe the reason I talk like this because my Aries is in the fifth house. My identity starts with myself. Fifth house is your house of self. It's the house of children. It's the house of creativity. So naturally, you know, my Aries starts with me. Um, but then you have your first house, and the first house still holds the imprint of Aries. So you want to look at what's in your first house. Yeah, I think that's it. wise feminine. And so look at what's in your first house and then see where Vesta is in your chart. Those three things are going to help color and shape your identity. Because before you can maneuver with any uh, power in this reality, you got to know who you are. And that's the thing about what we're talking about. We're talking about becoming acquainted with yourself. Becoming acquainted with yourself is an investment. That's the first investment. You're investing in you by becoming acquainted with yourself. Peace, peace, Tarzan. Thank you, thank you. Glad I could get on. Thank you for stepping in or stopping by. What better investment can there be than in yourself? Look, everything now is telling you that something outside of you has the answer. And it's all Piscean. It's and Pisces is not all bad. So I don't want to, but this whole idea of, you know, somebody else has an answer for you, um, it is the equivalent of extinguishing your fire. It is a challenge, it is a threat to your Vesta. It is the antithesis of the word investment. So you want to sit with yourself. I'm gonna give you some more jewels. Not only do you want to look at your Vesta, I'm gonna give you these four asteroids. You want to look at your Pallas Athena. Pallas Athena. Oh, let me tell you what these glyphs look like. When you pull this video up, the glyph that I use for this video, that's Vesta. So that's gonna show you what Vesta look like. It looks like a V sitting inside of a V with a flame coming out of the middle. Now, Pallas Athena looks like, if you play cards, it looks like a diamond sitting on top of a cross. That's Pallas Athena. Pallas Athena is naturally associated with your 10th house. Okay, so you want to look at Pallas Athena, and that gives you a peek into your leadership capabilities. It gives you a peek into your natural inclination towards building things. You want to look at the sign that it's in and the house that it's in. You want to look at Ceres. Ceres is naturally the opposite of Pallas Athena. Ceres is where we get the word cereal. So it's sustenance, it's food. And so food does what? It nourishes. So Ceres is going to tell you how your soul is nourished. Okay. You want to look at Juno. Juno is naturally associated with your 7th house, your house of relationship. So Juno is going to show you how your fire shows up in relation to other. And what these things do is they are agents, in essence, of the moon by way of Venus. Now, what do I mean by that? The moon is correlates to your emotional body. How do you receive and respond to the stimuli around you? Emotions. In other words, how is the water in you affected? How are the tides affected in you by the world around you? Okay. The moon would be the hierarchy in this goddess. structure. Next would be Venus. Venus is how you are going to say you usually detach your what are you, your moon must be in I wonder if your moon is in Gemini or Aquarius or um but wise feminine says oh moon in Aquarius. Okay. She says she normally detaches. So um what was I saying? Oh, Venus. Venus is the active agent of the moon because Venus is going to act out the emotional state through desires and love. Okay. Um, but our psyche is a lot more complex than just that. And so then these asteroids, and I mean that it's an unbelievable number of them. This is just four of them. They are going to be agents of Venus. So they're going to be perfecting agents because all of these four asteroids I just named you, they're all dealing with love. Love, because they are agents of Venus. Vesta is, of course, self-love, identity. Because when you keep the fire going in the house, then you maintain an environment where there can be nurturing, right? That's self-love. Juno is how my love extends beyond me. Okay. Ceres is how my love becomes an institution of growing. Okay. Of growing something. Pallas Athena becomes how does my love turn into an intellectual, mental paradigm or a thought form? How do I create? Because love leads to creation. How do I create mentally? Pallas Athena. And when I'm telling you, I'm talking about investment. All this other shit to me is secondary if I have not invested in myself. Who am I really? Like before I even uh, embark on some new venture about making money, you know, or whatever. First, I need to sit with myself. And it's not just to be philosophical or to be deep. It's like I'm sitting with myself because I benefit all around in doing so. I benefit spiritually, I benefit mentally, I benefit physically, I benefit financially by sitting with myself. And let me say this: you already see it in your wherever you live, goods and services and everything. The prices keep ratcheting up, right? There's only so far that everybody can keep hustling everybody. You know, Ponzi schemes, pyramid schemes, scams, frauds. The hammer's coming down. The universal hammer is coming down on that shit. Okay? And so at a certain point, it's just got to get down to what do I really have that can be of service to myself and others? How can I be of service to myself without harming somebody? Now I know that shit sound, that shit don't go over well with all the, you know, the certain groups and this and that. Don't nobody don't hear nothing about treating nobody like you want to be treated because that shit don't sound cool and it don't sound nouveau and all that. But uh, It doesn't matter about what we think is cool. It don't matter about uh what's up, young E. It don't matter about what's acceptable. It is what it is. You know, how can I be of value to myself and others? And your chart will tell you. It'll tell you. Um, but what I was getting at about the goods and services, the prices are going up. We have a final square coming up later this month, right before Christmas, of Uranus and Saturn. And let's just to simplify it, let's say Saturn is limitation, and let's say Uranus is freedom. So these two are like the antithesis of each other. Now, one thing about these energies is they're never all good and they're never all bad. Saturn is not all bad. It is not solely malefic because if you don't have some limitations and some structure and some rules, uh, you know, as my dad would say, Katie bar the dough. It's just uh, anything can happen, any and everything, and nothing substantial gets built. You know, um, if Saturn takes over, then it can cause fear, fear that it can lead to corruption. And these just a couple of things, just trying to give both sides. Uranus, freedom. Freedom is great. And I mean, I'm Sun in Aquarius, so I mean, I love. I'm a Sun in Aquarius, and I'm a Sagittarius rising. So freedom is always at the forefront of my mind. But I do understand that freedom without checks and balances, again, chaos. You know, and that freedom without discipline can cause self harm. How do I know? Because I've harmed myself in the pursuit at times in my life of what I thought was freedom, you know, without the consideration of the necessity of discipline. So, what am I getting at? You are your number one investment should be in you, right? But it is not enough to know who you are, what you are, your capabilities, how great you are, how magnificent you are. Now, those are great, and it's an important step. But without discipline, the fire burns out. The keeper of the hearth has to have discipline, has to have discipline, because Uranus is in the sign of Taurus, okay? And Taurus is about goods, services, food, gas, water, land, all the things that no matter how beautifully and spiritually inclined we can be, we have yet to surpass the necessity of having these things in our lives. You know, um, so the freedom planet, the planet of rebellion, is in the sign of resources. So that means you can have something sudden happen with resources. Then you have the planet that is about discipline and limitation is in the sign of freedom. So what we have is a beautiful paradox right here in the universe. We have in two ways, we have coagulation bumping heads against uh, a solvent. A solvent is the loosening agent. If something is loosened, it's freed. If something is coagulated, and I mean that there's restriction. In the midst of that stands you and I. And so the sovereignty that comes in there is, how do I define where I need to be disciplined? How do I define how I use my time? See, part of moving into the sovereignty that Uranus desires is to give Saturn what it wants. You cannot throw away the energy of Saturn. You don't overcome it. It's a joke. You don't overcome any of these energies. There's a quote in this James Hillman book that says, "We are lived by energies that we pretend to understand." And that's in reference to when we study astrology. We're trying to figure out how to not get snatched and thrown around by these energies so that we can become co-creators. That's the shit. That's the humbling aspect of it. Even if you don't even respect the science, you can look at a person. If you know a little bit of astrology, you can look at somebody and see shit in it all. Like Wise Feminine was honest enough to say, uh, I I tend to detach. I'm like, I wonder if you got Moon and Gemini or Aquarius, and she said, I'm a Moon in Aquarius. See what I'm saying? So, and I know she values astrology, but even if she didn't, then it would still hold true that the nature to emotionally detach under certain amounts of stress will coincide with the moon in Aquarius. The thing about this science is you ain't gotta believe in it. That's because I look, like I told you, my man Wally Bay, he the one who turned me on to, well, he was the first person to read my chart. Well, he's the only person. I ain't had nobody to read. He said, "Man, let me read your chart," you know. And I was like, "Oh, okay, man." I wasn't into that shit. Like, man, but when I'm the type, when I make my mind up that I'm gonna be in it, then I'm fanatical. Okay. And so so it didn't matter about whether I believed in it, because now that I study and practice it, when I go back and look over my life, I see how certain aspects astrologically have impacted certain points in my life. So when we hearing stuff on the internet about all the calamities that are possibly awaiting us, and we hear all the stuff about what's going on now and this and that, in the midst of all of that is still you and I. As in, what am I doing with my time? Time, Saturn, time. I want y'all hear me out. If you are not able to master your time, the usage of it, somebody else will master it for you, and they will master you. Now that's the lowdown. That's the that's the realest shit I can tell you. Mastering your time is an expression of discipline, and it is an expression of self-love. Look, most when a person struggles with time utilization, at the core of it is an issue of self-love. If you love yourself and that's what I'm telling you, look up your Vesta and see what condition your Vesta is in. Start with that. Start with cultivating the seed, and not to become boastful and arrogant and this and that. That's a bunch of bullshit. That's just those people like that are just as empty, as a wagon without a child in it. You know, so I'm talking about true love. True love is quiet. You don't have to announce yourself. That's right, young E, Lord of the Rings. But let me quit preaching. What I'm saying is invest your time in yourself. It is important. And if you are struggling with self-love, then one way to improve your self-love is to work. That's right, work. Work. And I don't mean going to Ross and being a cashier but maybe it is. I mean work in any sense. Work. Let me expound on that. When you're working, in essence, you're taking action to achieve something. If you're a cashier at Ross, you're working, but do you have some goal you're working to? That's your 10th house is what you're working for. The 6th house is the work. The second house is the money you get. The 10th house is for what? Because I'm trying to build what? If you ain't got no confidence right now, you're lacking in that area, focus on work. And if it ain't, and not just mundane work, your spiritual work. Now, what is that though? What is the spiritual work? Something simple. Sit down and do the work. Write down everything that scares the shit out of you. Write down everything that scares the shit out of you and look at it and become acquainted with it and see it and dissect it. Because the 6th house, the house of work, is also the house of detail, digestion. Your digestive system is very detail oriented. It takes all those nutrients that come in and sifts through them and it looks at them, everything carefully. That's Virgo energy. Again, we're talking about investing in yourself. Maybe you're scared that if you work too hard and invest too much in yourself, that it's gonna all be for nothing. See what I'm saying? And if that is what you discover, then that will show you why. Oh, this is why I don't invest in myself because I think I ain't about shit. And so sometimes building a work ethic builds up that first step of discipline to stay with something. That's what I'm talking about. So basic common sense shit, but it works on all levels. You stay with something, you toil, and stop announcing. Social media will get us in this thing that we want to announce everything that we doing. Stop, don't fall in that trap of announcing every damn move you're gonna make. Oh, I'm about to do this. I'm about to go vegan. I'm about to get on this diet. Don't tell nobody shit. Just work. Be quiet and work. And then chart your progress. And as you do your work and chart your progress and keep your head down, then what you start to notice is, oh man, I'm getting somewhere. I'm getting something. I'm getting some benefit. And in the midst of doing that, guess what you start developing? Confidence. And that confidence translates into Vesta, fire. Because quiet is kept, you've been investing in yourself. And you have been showing Saturn that I am willing to do the work because Saturn is not a pure asshole. Saturn says, "Oh, I'm going to reward you for your hard work." Look, ain't it funny when you watching the video, like if somebody's channel monetized and videos come on, ain't it funny how many videos come up telling you if you've been doing FBL shipping through Amazon or what they call that shit, or drop shipping, none of that stuff works. I'm going to show you the easiest way to make $1 million in 3 seconds. This is how I did it. Let's go over here to my screen. This shows you here. I made $1 million here. I made $1 million there. I went and took a shit. I came back and made another $1 million. And everything is about it was easy because it's fraud. Pisces. It's fraud. We live in a pool, Pisces. And so if the frequency in the water is one of distress and one of exhaustion, then the sharks in the water will read the vibration and they're like, oh, okay, there's meat. There's meat around here. Oh, yeah, let's go. Let's go. It's time to eat. And so then you put out these fraudulent messages about how it's so easy to do this and do that. Trust me, if anybody finds something that's easy to become a millionaire, they ain't telling you and I shit about it. Okay? You can bet your mama's big toe on that. They ain't gonna tell us. So the trap that many of us get allured into is thinking still after all this time in human history where toil has been the consistent throughout human history. Toil. We constantly get railroaded by someone telling us that something's easy. Now, does that mean that magic doesn't work and that manifestation don't work? Hell no, that's not what I'm saying. They're gonna say 'cause I'm living proof. Those things do work. But the David Copperfield shit that's on the internet is not real. It's not real. It's not real. It is people understanding that goods and services are going up and people are trying to secure their goods and services or trying to secure their way of life because everybody's tired. Everybody's tired of the bullshit of dog eat dog. But the thing is, the Martian animalistic nature of humanity can take over to where it's like, fucking, I'm gonna do whatever I gotta do this to make sure me and mine got what we need and what we want. That's really what's going on. If you put enough pressure on a society of animals, then the true nature of the animal will come out. And if you haven't been taking time to work on yourself and dare I say humble yourself, that's right, humble. It's another word. Nobody want to hear about no humbling until motherfucker can't eat. A lot of people gonna be humble. 2022 is gonna be the year of humility. It's also gonna be a year where some people are gonna flourish in the midst. What's up, Flex? In the midst of what appears to be feces, that's gonna be roots planted and vegetation is gonna be growing in the midst of all that. Invest in yourself. It's a message. Invest in yourself. You are your investment. What skills do you have? And if you don't have any skills, how much time do you have? If you have time, how are you using your time? Are you wasting your time? Are you wasting your time watching fucking conspiracy videos? I mean, how much more can we talk about motherfuckers gonna try to shoot us in the ass with a? I mean, it is what it is. You know where you stand rock solid. Now what you gonna do? That's all I got. Wise feminist said I needed this message. Right on. I'm glad it was on time. Flex, you know what time it is. Sad instruction. Flex Flex studies astrology. He knows both sides of Saturn. Wise feminist says I have to have discipline to keep myself going on my fitness journey. That's right. Self-love. Just at the end of the day, when the doubt creeps in or those alternate messages, I have so much stuff be coming to my mind we want to do and get on here and talk about. You know, I'm gonna do a chat because I really want to just flesh out this Pisces. When we hear the term, when we hear Pisces is about religion and about belief, um, I really want to flesh that out. But final thing too, before I forget, Venus is in Capricorn. So all this stuff we've been talking about, like I said, it traces back to Venus. Venus rules Taurus, where Uranus is, and we're talking about value, desire, love. Venus is in Capricorn right now, and it will station retrograde. Uh, it's in its shadow right now. The station retrograde. Damn, I can't remember. A couple of days or so. Um, so Venus is a pretty fast moving planet, but it's going to be uh, in Capricorn until March. So all this stuff I'm talking about, we all are going to have a lot of time to review self worth, value. What do I have of value? What are my resources? See, even just sitting there and contemplating what do I have is an expression of investing in yourself because you're taking stock. See what I'm saying? You are walking through the storehouse of you and you're looking up on, oh, shelf B, okay, I got potatoes, or I got eggs, okay, I got some flour. You're going through your own storehouse and taking inventory. And any well functioning business, this is what you got to do. You got to self audit. You got to know if you worked in a warehouse, you know about it. Certain times they'll shut down production. Everybody got to go around and count. You know what I'm saying? Because they want to know, what do I have? Everybody got to become a CEO. You got to become a CEO. You got to work your Taurus. You got to work your Venus and Capricorn. You got to take assessment of what you got. What do I have of value? And if I see I'm missing something that I want to have in the storehouse, then Capricorn says, what's your plan? That's what this time or this retrograde is going to give us to do. To go back, when it turns direct, it's going to go back and review our retrograde activities. Oh, did you take time to go through your stock? All right, now I'm going to stop for real now. Wise Feminine said, I've been allowing my job to drain me. I know what I have, and in the process of getting back to me, that's right, utilizing your time, you know? Utilizing your time. Slow motion, but show motion. Don't let them. Don't let your jobs drain you. And I know. Okay, I said I was going to stop. So let's look. Let's not just leave this on a note of me just telling you, don't do it. Don't do it. That's right. That's right. Tarzan said inventory. What's your FIFO? What's expired? What to rotate? That's right. Um, FIFO, first in, first out. Um, don't let your job drain you. I'm not gonna leave with just that. How to not let your job drain you? How to not let your job drain you? One, if you've already assessed, which I think you all have, what your gifts are, what your talents are, then while Venus is in Capricorn, let's just put these, let's put these things together. This is how we, because astrology is a language, right? Let's keep it simple. Let's say that Venus is value. Okay, Venus is resources, possessions. Um, Even the word leisure is associated with Venus. So think about all that. And leisure does not mean taking a trip to Cancun. It means learning in essence. So what you value in learning, what you value that you have, what you desire, what do you love? Okay, Venus. Capricorn, what are you going to build? How are you going to build it? This is how you work this right now and not let your job drain you. Because if your Venus is just flying by the seat of the pants, meaning I know what I want to do, I know what I love, I know what I desire, but I'm lacking discipline. They got you. The whole world got you. If you play it that way, because what'll happen is you'll leave your Vesta uh you'll leave her unguarded, and that means someone can extinguish your flame. The job can extinguish your flame if uh there is no consideration of Venus's movement through Capricorn. This is an opportune time to be thinking about what I want to build. Now, of course, everybody's got Capricorn in different houses. For me, Capricorn is in my money house. So you know what time it is. I am not bullshitting, you know? Um, and I'm just gonna say this. My chart reading game is serious. It's serious. So when I was in personal training, you know, I was the best at what I did, at least in Dallas, Fort Worth, you know, and I still am if I wanted to do it because I was dealing with people who weren't disciplined. They wouldn't study. So if you don't study, man, there's no way you're gonna always be able to be better than somebody. The person who can study and who's willing to learn, they always gonna be better. So, but I used to cheat myself, take myself short. People come in and pay me nickels and dimes. These people, yeah, they living in $500,000 homes, and I'm feeling like, oh man, I can't charge them this much. And they over here, and I know I'm gonna date myself when I say this, but we say they living fat. That's some old school shit for you. They living fat, and I don't even want to charge. Then they come and tell me, "Oh, your prices are great. So and so charged me $500 a month," and I'm feeling like an asshole. And I know this trainer, and I know they garbage. So while Venus is in Capricorn, you know, hey, I have told myself I am not gonna go back down this road again of nickel and diamond, because when I do what I do it exceptionally well. 10th house is career. I have Virgo in the 10th house. So I'm a perfectionist about what I'm going to do if I'm going to do it. So that's how it plays out for me. That's just one area. It also, you got to look at where Venus is and what house is opposite, because that helps to keep in check how you're using your Venus. So how does it keep me in check? My money house is opposing my uh my emotional house, the 8th house. Or put it this way, the house of me gathering is opposing the house of me letting shit go. So I always got to remember, at the helm, not to become an asshole who worship money and worships status and things of that nature. And to always keep in mind, because the 8th house is also the house of hidden things, the occult. So it also reminded that money is not my number one destiny here. It's a means for me to acquire resources. And with those resources, I can continue on my 8th house mission. See what I'm saying? This is how you look at your chart. You find out what Capricorn, if you got Capricorn in the first house, then you need to be looking at self love, period, point blank. Self love. And how you displaying discipline in your life is contributing to your self love and how you interact with the world around you. Am I being cold and rigid? Am I being fearful? Am I being a Doubting Thomas because I ain't taking the time to really, invest in myself? I got self doubt. Do I have Capricorn in the 7th house? Well, damn. How are my relationships? Am I being selfish in my relationships because I'm fearful that I'm going to lose something? Because Venus naturally, in its rulership in Taurus, is opposite Scorpio. Scorpio is the natural ruler of the 8th house, letting shit go. So I can become selfish because I'm afraid of losing something. I haven't overcome that fear. So it's these different ways that play out for all of us. But taking the time to go through these things is an expression of self-love. It's an investment. Okay. In essence, what I hear and what's spoken to me is we have abused our own power and tricked off the gift of our free will. Use the energies as an indicator and catalyst. Oh wow, that's a mouthful. Yeah, that's right, Tarzan. Am I Terza? My bad. Yes, that was right on point. So all right, I'm gonna let y'all ride. Thank y'all for chiming in. I'll be impromptu on the videos. Damn, this has been 60 minutes. That quick. I was intending this just to be like 15 minutes. Well, all right. As always, y'all stay down till you get up. When you get up, stay down. You can, if you want to book a reading, you can visit 720astrology.com. Got all types of readings. I got birth chart readings, readings for your children, couples readings. I got the 720, that's the big dog, where etymology of your name, numerology, birth chart. Um, I got astrology parties. If your money's a little tight, get together with 5 or 6 of your friends, have an astrology party, and y'all can get 25-minute reading a piece and still get a whole bunch of information within that time. And I got the 2022 year in review forecast. If you want to see some of the archetypal energies that are coming up in 2022 for you, then those are available too. So yeah, hit me up. Info at 720 info at 720astrology.com. The email. Thank y'all for tuning in. Peace.